Welcome to our gathering on the second Thursday of the month. And we are now in the living room, so those of you that have joined us in the past in the barn, you see a different background. We're moving inside for the winter and taking all the safety precautions that we can do. There's only a few of us here in the room, most of whom live here or who visit here on a regular basis. So we're being very mindful of the current climate and being safe and conscious for everybody. We also have, just FYI, for those of you that are out there and if anybody who comes later, we've got this very expensive, very, very nice air cleaner that's quietly humming in the corner. So it's been running all day, and it's another way to clean the air as we're in here together. So I'm Reverend Asha Burson-Johnson. My preferred pronouns are she, her. It's my pleasure and joy to be here with you tonight. You out there, you out here, and you few in the room. So we're going to read our vision and our mission. It's on the back of your program that is in your... Our vision. We are an open, safe, creative, affirming, and thriving spiritual community where we experience divine love and connection every day. Our mission. Through spiritual, artistic, and social gatherings, we experience and express divine love. Our intentions create ripples of compassion into the world. Our opening and closing songs will be both for November and December, so we'll get 4 chances to sing them. This is what I call my mailbox walk song, because as I turn the corner out of our front gate and start heading to the mailbox, there are the mountains, there are the hills. Right now they're beautifully snow-capped, and they remind me to look up. So this is the song that came out as a result of my walk to the mailbox several years ago. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift my eyes into light and out of darkness. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes out of fear and desperation. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes into joy and jubilation. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes into the holy hills. I lift mine eyes into love and transformation. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. Beautiful. So I invite PJ Harris, our practitioner for this evening, to give us our opening reading, a brief time of silence that I will bring out with our crystal bowl, and then she will give us a beautiful opening prayer. PJ.
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Hi, PJ.
The quote that I found is, I might need to get my glasses. Oh, maybe not. Jacob, what does that say?
Nordby.
Jacob Nordby. You know how every once in a while you do something and the little voice inside says, there, that's it. That's why you're here. And you get a warm glow in your heart because you know it's true. Do more of that.
Can you read that again?
I will read that again.
That's just so beautiful. I want to hear it again.
Okay. You know how every once in a while you do something and the little voice inside says, there, that's it. That's why you're here. And you get a warm glow in your heart because you know it's true? Do more of that. And I would add, going forth. And here in this moment, there is only God. The great I am. The one, the all-loving, all-knowing. And again, in this moment, right here and right now. Going on until eternity of moments, right here and right now. In every breath, in every creation, in every twinkle of every star. And I know that I am eternally connected to this one bright shine spirit. And as I know that we are all connected to everything, connected to each other, connected in love, this community with a capital C. And so I say my word of holy blessing as we're going into the dark time, digging our roots deep down into the soil to get that nourishment, those pearls of wisdom, reminding us this is why we're here. We're here to love. We're here to support each other. We're here to stand in truth. And we're here to celebrate joy in the smallest moments and in the big, tall mountains with beautiful snow shining, because I too saw those today. And so I'm so very grateful for this holy moment, this opportunity to come together via digital or in person, to hear words of wisdom and to share love and support with each other. Again, I'm grateful, and I release these words into the law, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, PJ. That was beautiful. I step into a new idea for life. I am willing to release limiting beliefs and go forth with hope,
Trust,
and curiosity.
Love you, everybody.
Thank you so much, PJ. That was beautiful. That was just perfect. So this idea about going forth is a weird idea because, as PJ referenced, we're going into the dark time. What we call the dark time, which does not mean that it's a bad time. It is very natural in our human cycles to go into this time. I call it going into the cave. We're going into the hibernation. It's definitely much darker than it was 2 weeks ago. And that's not just because of daylight savings time. It's the way the cycle happens, where everything begins to get quiet, quieter than it already is in this world. but where everything begins to slow down and get quiet, and as PJ referenced also, to root in and anchor in more deeply. It's in the dark where growth happens. That's where it all begins. That's where the seed begins to burst forth. That's where the tree gets deeper and deeperly, that's a new word, deeper and more deeper rooted into the earth. And so this idea of going forth, while at the same time going within, seems sort of counterintuitive. And yet, here we are with this topic that really wanted to be the topic for the next couple of months for me. Part of it came because on Veterans Day, on Wednesday, I got to participate with the interfaith community, and we had previously recorded a couple days before a vigil and a celebration that we then did as a process and a vigil on Veterans Day. So we had Zoom live with about 20 people on Wednesday at noon, and then we played this video that we had made where we went through the spiral that comes from a book called Active Hope, which I've talked about, we did as a book study, and Interfaith Community did as a book study last year, and just at the tail end of that book study was when the pandemic struck our shores and shut everything down. We were supposed to have a big celebration and a big workshop by a person who knows the author of the book. We had all these plans to celebrate the final parts of this book, and then kibosh like everything else. And so we did the spiral, which I'll talk about in a minute, and the final part of the spiral is going forth. And so that's why I really felt like this is what I want to talk about for the next couple of months, because that feels like that's where we are at this moment in time, is this opportunity. And the reason is because of the spiral. And the spiral is one of those things we repeat and repeat and repeat over and over again. In many different areas of our life, we might be in different places on the spiral at different times, in different parts of our life, in our personal life, and if we have a work life or family life or friendships lives or whatever lives we have, caregiving lives, whatever parts of life we have, we are maybe different parts of the spiral all at the same time. So the first part of the spiral is gratitude. And that's the rooting in part. We root into gratitude. So when we did our video, we started at the labyrinth. And we had somebody reading about gratitude. What are we grateful for? As people were entering the labyrinth. So we have a video of this person talking, sharing some readings, and talking about gratitude as we entered the spiral. This beautiful labyrinth that we have on our property. And the second phase is honoring our pain. We do that after we fill up with gratitude, because that helps us to actually feel our pain while at the same time not being trapped by our pain, not being sucked down by our pain. We're so filled up with gratitude that we can honestly honor and feel the pain we feel for the losses that have been happening in the world, for our own losses, for the lack of socialization that we're feeling, for all the events that we can't do, all the stuff that our brain says, yada, 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 I'm mad about all this. I'm grieving this. I'm grieving the loss of this. And we did that part of the process at our cairn of mourning that we have on this property. A cairn is a pile of stones, and we add to those whenever we want to honor something that has been lost in the world, whether it's a personal loss or a global loss. And so again, someone stood by the cairn, read some beautiful poetry, some quotes, talked about some of the losses, specifically because we were honoring veterans that day, but all the losses in the world, all the losses of war that we don't think about besides veterans. And then all the losses we've been feeling as a planet. So we placed stones on the cairn.
We didn't only know what was coming.
Yeah, we didn't know. It was the most beautifully timed book study ever. The third part of the spiral is what we call seeing with new eyes. So in the book, they talk about business as usual. We talk about, I can't think of what the next part is, but it's basically business as usual is nothing to see here, nothing going on. People that wanted to ignore the pandemic and that it wasn't happening. And then there's the people that want to awfulize everything. Oh, we're all going to go to hell in a handbasket. We're all going to die. It's going to be terrible. That's the ain't it awful part. And then there's the moving forward out of that, turning the corner, and starting to see everything that's happening from a new perspective, with new eyes, differently. Sometimes, again, I've talked a lot about this, just looking at it from another angle. Maybe don't have it be personal. See what it feels like if we stretch out a little bit. But just to shift our perspective. We did that part of the process at our Indra's net, which is a web that we have on the property, stretched between two trees, and that's where we tie our prayers and hopes for the future. We write on the ribbons sometimes we just speak into the ribbons, and we tie them onto the net. It's called Indra's net, which is another spiritual philosophy idea that the world is made up of this giant web, and we are all a place where the web crosses itself. And everything that happens on the web affects everything else that's happening on the web. So our seeing with new eyes also helps to affect the way others are seeing. And the final step of the spiral is going forth. Once we've felt our pain, filled up with gratitude, felt our pain, begin to see things differently, that's when we can go forward. That's when we can go forth. And so we did that part of the process, walking out of the labyrinth, having someone read about going forth and moving ahead with a different idea, with this turning of our consciousness to something different. We've already seen in the relatively short time that this pandemic has affected us since March. I've started to really notice and look with new eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we've lost and it's terrible, like we have to wear these masks and things. And then I look at all the amazing creativity that's happening as a result. Businesses that are created to create masks that are beautiful and pretty. When I go grocery shopping now, I make it a point to compliment people on their masks, especially if they match their outfit. That's cool. It's now become a fashion accessory. Terry matches beautifully tonight. I think that's awesome. I made sure that my one that Shirley gave me, my little octopus, matches my outfit. And I had somebody mention that the other day. Oh, I like how your mask matches your outfit. So we're starting to see that newly. We're starting to see the way that we can gather in a whole new creative way. We're starting to see theater coming up where they're doing it somehow on Zoom and pre-recording things. I've seen several plays, a couple of TV shows, and now there are some movies that are coming out where the actors aren't even in the same room, and yet they're performing together. So when we begin to see newly, we can move forward in whatever it is that we're here to do. Again, what PJ spoke about in her quote was that moment that we say, yes, that's what I'm here to do. For so many of us, myself included, when everything shut down and it didn't feel like there was any respite, many of us began to feel this feeling, I can't do the thing that I'm put on this earth to do. I can't do the very thing that I'm here to do and be. And for a lot of people, including myself, that was really hard. My brother and sister-in-law run a large children's theater. They couldn't do theater the way they've always done it. They got to be creative. I have another friend who runs a large children's theater. Couldn't do what they've always done before. They figured out ways to actually put on productions so that everybody was safe, everybody was guarded, and everybody actually got to complete a show. It was amazing.
The parents are jumping with joy.
Yes, the parents were jumping with joy because they were really wanting their kids to have things to do because they were bored being at home. And even school and all these other ways that we've always gone through life, this business as usual got completely upended. And it couldn't have come at a better time. And now, with the election, we have a new and different way to go forth. A different way to begin to view our world and to view how we want to choose to move forward. And yes, there's resistance. There's always resistance. There's resistance within each of us when it comes time to do something new. When we have to break an old idea or an old paradigm that we've always thought was true or the way that we've always done it. I have friends now living in our guest room for several months, long-term friends of mine, and one of them is a fabulous cook. They both cook, but one of them is a professional, and that's what he does. So we've been doing meals together as a family. I cook 3 nights a week. My mom cooks 3 nights a week, and then Sunday is yo-yo. You're on your own. So now we have a new chef, a new cook in the house. Mm-hmm. We've taken a couple of nights away from Mom. She does Super Saturdays. Every Saturday there's some kind of soup. And now we've got somebody else cooking. He does things completely different. New types of foods, new ways of preparations, not the way we've always done it. How cool. He cooks totally differently than I do. His process is totally different than mine is. And it's fascinating to watch myself go, oh, but that's not where that knife goes. Oh, but that's not how you do that. No, I get to be quiet and watch and be in gratitude that somebody else is taking care of this beautiful process of food. So I've got some great quotes, and I'm going to share some of them with you about going forth. And I found it really interesting that so many of them came from so many different philosophies, spiritual traditions, and belief systems. John F. Kennedy. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed, and to which we are committed today at home and around the world. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and success of liberty. We are seeing that movement across the country. It's led up to the election and it's continuing after the election. The work is not done. And we've seen new creative ways that people have gotten people registered to vote and gotten out to vote. Our whole country had to figure out different and new creative ways to vote. How cool is that? So that's kind of worldly. John F. Kennedy, a worldly point of view. Actually, a very America-centric point of view. David Spangler, who is a philosopher, and he calls himself a practical mystic. I like that term. He says, the earth community, the life community, is not the property of any one religion or group or part of the world. It is the commons that embraces us all, our planetary home, and it needs us as never before. It calls us to become not heroes, but community builders, builders of home, gatherers and embracers, bearers of hospitality, keepers of the shared space that nurtures us all. It calls us not to go forth and come back laden with honors, but to honor where we are, who we are, and from that place to reach out, to connect and honor each other in the community of life. Most of you know we have a little free pantry at our front gate, and I fill it whenever it gets empty, and occasionally, quite often, there are things in there that I've not put in there. Someone else is building community, watching out for others, making sure that people have food. Today, a whole bunch of fresh produce showed up in there. I didn't put it there. And someone that I know who's traveling halfway across the country somehow got a text or a Facebook post about our little free pantry, and she's the one who told me there were fresh vegetables in our free pantry. Talk about amazing technology and a new way of being and a new way of seeing with new eyes when someone across the country is telling me something that's happening at my driveway. That's pretty amazing.
When I was coming in the other day, there was a little girl, and she had big clusters, it looked like kale or lettuce or something that she was putting in there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
We have a sign right in front of it that just says, "Let's be kind." And I've had that sign up for a long time. And it's stayed there and nobody's done anything to it. That's my wish. Let's just be kind. So that's a way that we can do that, in a way that has us building community, home, and being a bearer of hospitality. And, oh, no,
Sorry.
that's okay. I thought it was your phone for a second. I'm so auditory. And Esther Hicks, who also is known as Abraham Hicks, much like your quote, it was such a perfect quote, says, "Your work is to go forth into this physical environment looking for things that are a vibrational match to joy, connecting to source energy, and then following with the inspired action." I've said often, first my question to myself is, who do I want to be in this moment? Then what to do follows naturally after that. That's what she's saying here. Connect to source energy. What matches my joy? Because if I want to be joy in this moment, or love in this moment, or peace in this moment, I find the vibrational match for that. I connect into the space in me that is always peace, always joy, always love. And then what there is to do makes itself known to me. When I'm upset or fearful or in my reptilian brain and I'm running around, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, which happens a lot to all of us, right? We get freaked out sometimes. We get caught in these moments of, I don't know what to do. One of my former ministers, I can see him to this moment. I don't know what to do, but something inside me does. I don't know what to do. I love that throwing out of the hand. I don't know what to do, but something inside me does. Who do I want to be right now? What to do will make itself known. And it will enable me to go forth, to go forward, not get stuck or seek honor. Jody says amen.
Wow.
That's a good itch. We're going to just pause on that. Sometimes it just feels good to scratch. So I was sharing just before we started that one of our congregants has been looking for a new place to live. She's had a cute little house that she shared with somebody, and then they moved out, and she was able to stay there for a few months on her own without extra rent being paid. And then the owner of the house actually needs to move back into that house. So she was deciding, she spent a lot of time in her life in Ecuador. She has a lot of community of people that she knows there. And she was going to go spend at least a few months, maybe 4 months in Ecuador, hang out down there for a while. And that was what she was pretty clear she was going to do, put her stuff into storage, and then figure out, what do I want to do for the rest of my life after that? She kept getting this loud voice, this loud message. It's not time to go to Ecuador. It's not time to go to Ecuador. So she canceled her plane trip, and then she's in that space. Well, now what do? I don't know where I'm going to live. The other things that I had sort of tentatively lined up didn't work. What am I going to do? And as I've said to a couple of people, and as I say to a lot of people, be curious and put out into the universe what you want. Tell every single person you meet, this is what I'm looking for, this is my desire, this is my dream. I don't know how it's going to show up. I'm not in charge of that. Be curious. Tell everybody. So she told people, told some more people, they told people, they paid attention. A friend of a friend of a friend. Talk about 6 degrees of separation. But a friend of a friend of a friend knew of this older gentleman who lives in a big house all by himself. He's pretty self-sufficient, but he needs somebody just to be there and to cook meals. There's a nice little private bedroom and bath, a whole huge house, and 5 acres of land that she can live in, way less rent than she's paying now, her own space. She doesn't have to be there 24/7, just to have somebody else in the house to pay attention. And it's right across the street from where she currently lives. Literally, you come up the road, you normally make a right to get to her house, now you make a left, and it's there.
Wow.
So moving's gonna be easy. She can basically carry stuff across the street. And she had no idea that was gonna unfold, how that was gonna work. She just kept trusting something is coming, the right thing. And she said, it felt like it was too easy. And I said, sometimes that's the way it's supposed to be. When it's across the street from your house, that's usually a good sign. When my husband and I lived in San Diego, and he was still doing landscaping in Orange County, which for those of you that don't know the topography, it's a 2-hour train ride and a 2-hour train ride back every day that he was commuting, leaving at 5:30 in the morning, coming back at 7:30 at night after working a full day doing landscaping all day in Orange County. And at some point we said, we just have to say we live in San Diego. We were there temporarily, but I said, we just have to say we live here. Because Spirit doesn't know where to put our good. Do you want your good in Orange County? Do you want your good in San Diego? I don't know where you want it. So I said, we just have to say we live here. For however long we do. And he said, I think I'm going to close my landscaping business in Orange County and open it up down here and see what happens. His first job, across the street, a neighbor's house. They just happened to want to have their entire backyard remodeled. So instead of getting up in the morning and kissing me goodbye at 5:30, he would get his cup of coffee at about 8 o'clock and say, I'm going to work. And he'd walk across the street. Sometimes across the street is good. Sometimes we need to go further. We just don't know. So can we be curious? Everybody that I see within my eyesight right now has had amazing things happen when they just began to be curious. You talked about this beautiful guitar that just came and then got enhanced and improved and I think you said, is it okay to share? You said something. You said you've never loved your guitar before, and that you're madly in love with this guitar.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I don't mean aesthetically beautiful.
It is.
It's totally beautiful. It plays beautiful. It just, I don't know, it's just everything
You
about
said it felt good the minute you put your hands on it.
Yeah, and Michael fixed it for me,
Yeah.
so.
It needed a little extra spirit love. So how do we go forth? We go forth with curiosity and who do I want to be to move forward? The rest will make itself known. Often not in our own time frame. We want things now. We're very impatient, us Americans.
Well,
We
when
want
was the
everything
first time
now.
you told me to get rid of the van?
Yeah,
A
wow.
long time ago.
Yeah,
And it's because I got rid of the van that I got the guitar.
exactly. And you're free.
Right.
And it didn't
And I feel
mess
free.
up your credit.
Actually sold it right out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And the first person that looked like a good prospect, they weren't the right person.
No.
Second person was like done deal that day, bank transfer, like magic.
Yeah, it's all done in like a few hours.
Yeah. So, it doesn't have to be hard.
No, it doesn't.
And sometimes it does. Sometimes our own stuff gets in the way of having it be easy. And that's okay too. We get to forgive ourselves for that. We get to honor the pain and the suffering that we've had up until this moment and then continue to move forward. How do I move forward right now? How do I move forward right now? Marianne Williamson says, go forth in confidence and go forth in peace. For there are angels to your left and angels to your right, angels in front of you and angels behind you, angels above you and angels below. You are loved. You are not alone. Hi. Sarada Alita Daly, who's a humanitarian and a visionary, says, love is you. Love is calling you. Love is awaiting you. Love is wanting me to open the front door. Go get your special water. Go on out there. No, she just wants me to play. Love is you. Love is calling you. Life is awaiting you. Go forth and live fully. Be whomever you are. Define you. Perfect. Thank you. And the Buddha said, go forth in every direction for the happiness, the harmony, the welfare of the many. Offer your heart, the seeds of understanding, like a lamp overturned and relit, illuminating the darkness. Go forth in every direction. I really like that.
I've already got that covered.
Some of us are broader in other directions. There's a line from Little Abner. She says, I want to broaden my horizons. And Mammy says, your horizons are broad enough already. That always made me laugh. So, figure out where you are in the spiral in different places in your life and honor that place, knowing that you are moving through, that it's not permanent, that it's a part of life, that it is a movement of life to go through this process again and again. And as we go forth, and we also go into the darkness inside, diving deep into the wisdom of who we really are, finding the peace and the joy and the love at the center of our being, let us then go forth and illuminate the rest of life, wherever we go. I like to picture this vision of that we leave sparkles in our wake wherever we go. That behind us, as we go through our daily life, through the grocery store, interacting with people, masks on, smiling behind them, crinkly eyes and all, that we leave a trail of joy in our wake wherever we go. That we leave a little more brightness in the world. I think we can do that. I want to leave you with one last quote. Molly Ivins, a journalist. So keep fighting for freedom and justice, beloveds. But don't you forget to have fun doing it. Lord, let your laughter ring forth. Be outrageous. Ridicule the fraidy cats. Rejoice in all the oddities that freedom can produce. I like that. Don't you forget to have fun doing it. We can have serious business and still have fun doing it. Take a deep breath. So our conscious giving affirmation is in our program. I invite you to say it with me if you choose. I am open to give. I am open to receive. I am grateful to be in the flow of life, through and as me. Our closing song is Blessing to the World, and I really want you to feel this as the deepest truth of who you are. I am the heart, I am the hand, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. So take another breath.